caddy for someone at the Masters, who's that person going to be?
Chichi Rodriguez, baby. My guy.
Hopefully the cheapest drink there is going to be a little mix of iced tea, a little mix of lemonade to give me Arnold Palmer.
I was going a little bit more new school. I would love to be on Rory's bag. TreyDay.
For me, it was a pretty simple answer here. You know, being the golf expert that I am, I got to go with my man, Chubbs Peterson. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going for. Chubbs. Squad up! Cinco Squad, episode 157. Back in the house, back to business. We crowned some champs this week. Fellas, Mike, what's your reaction to the men's finals? Houston versus Florida.
That was a crazy. I mean, I tweeted it out, the gif of Adam Sandler. Houston, you blew it! What was it? Less than 2 minutes left. I think Duke took the lead again with like a minute to go, or less than that, or something like that.
Duke.
No, I'm talking about the finals matchup.
Oh yeah, yeah. Florida.
Houston did blow it.
Houston.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
I think you're talking about both games. I think you're talking about Duke.
No, because Houston basically
Duke blew it, and then
what
Houston
did to Duke a couple nights before and blew it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Florida. Yeah, I think it was less than a minute left when Florida took the lead for good, or seemingly for good. Yeah, it was.
But that's what Florida has done all the entire tournament. They've been playing down. A lot of people have been like, "Oh well, I'm not sure." They've been playing down on teams, but that's what they like to do. They like to play down, see what they got, let the team kind of just expose themselves, and then they attack and they dwindle at you. They never let a deficit overcome them. So I'm not surprised. I even told you guys that before the game. You guys are like, I don't know. I'm like, I've seen this in every game they've played this tournament. So this is something that is very fun. It's very funny to me, like to see like everyone react. Oh my god, I can't believe they came back. I'm like, they come back every game this tournament.
But a lot of that was self-inflicted, Houston. To be honest,
yeah.
Even at the end, you got 19 seconds. You don't get a shot off because you're so busy saying, "Oh, we have to take this 3" when you could have just taken the 2 or had some type of backup plan. Usually, if you get in a huddle in a case like that, especially with 19 seconds, most coaches are drawing up 2 plays. You got this.
Were they down 2 or 3?
They were down 2, so they could have still got a 2.
Why didn't they just go to the back?
Exactly. They still could have got a 2 and went overtime, but everybody was so busy trying to play for a 3 that you had 19 seconds, don't even get a shot up. I mean, that's ridiculous. You could have, even if you went to the basket, missed it, they rebounded, you can foul an extended game. They couldn't even get a shot up.
And that's the problem is like, and I'm gonna go on a little tangent here, but that's the problem with basketball nowadays is everyone wants to hit that fucking 3, everyone wants to do that bullshit, and obviously
but
everyone wants.
With you, Kelvin Sampson drew it up that way, and he's the coach, so I put a lot of that on him for even drawing that play up that way.
Right, it's sad. It's sad that basketball has kind of gone to that, where fundamentally going to the hoop and just getting it easy too is not in someone's mindset. Crossing half court with 19 seconds left, and I get you want your best player to have the ball, but everyone's going to think your best player is having to have the ball. There's got to be someone open, and I think there was a Houston guy wide open in the corner, so you could have thrown it over to him. And Sharp was sharp all tournament long, all season long, and he's going to be remembered for double dribbling on the last play of the game of his senior year. So it's sad to hear. Sad to see. Also, shout out to Spectrum for basically shout out to our apartment complex for basically losing power with 24 seconds left to go in the game. Literally 24 seconds left, power went out. I was like, what the fuck? I'm sitting there, we're scrambling to look on our phone. I'm like, Mike, you got it, I got it. We're all trying to get on our phone, and then it comes back on, and finally we watched the final play on because the power came back, but. Yeah, that was a funny moment in the Sawyer, DeSanto, Peterkin household.
Mike, I think you had another response about the game.
Oh well, I was gonna say actually, if we think back to it, I would give him credit. John was right about both teams. Florida does Florida things. They always lull you into a false sense of security and then come back just like they did. And Houston, he did say Houston lives and dies by the 3. They tried to live and die by the 3, and it bit him in the ass.
Didn't even get the shot up. I would have liked him just to basically overhand chuck it on that because he had a chance to shoot it on that shot. I mean, it was in the air and he pulled it down. And I'm like, why'd you pull it down?
He didn't know what to do.
Shoot it up because he pulled up at
better
10 seconds. He did pull up at 10 seconds, so at least get the shot up, let it go off the.
Is that
Even
better
if you
than
don't know, like you're getting enough hang time where you can think in a split second. Let me just bang it off the backboard and hopefully we get a rebound.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm thinking.
It wasn't getting blocked. They didn't really go up with him.
Yeah, anything but that. That was really the thing. Anything but what he did would have at least gave him maybe a shot. Even if he turned the ball over by actually, like just throwing it up and it goes into somebody's Florida's hand, you can foul and extend the game. So anything but that. John, last week you were on your Dawn Staley high horse. What's your reaction to the women's final?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that the women's finals over the last maybe like 5 or 6 years have been so lopsided. I mean, I don't think we have had a good finals in a very long time. We've had one good Final Four game, unfortunately, when it comes down to like the UConn last year against Iowa, who lost. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because there was no standout player for South Carolina. I think they had just a team of great players, but no like standout like Cardoso or whoever. A few years ago there was I forget her name, but Paige Becker. So I mean, shout out to her. I mean, the things that she overcame throughout her career, torn ACLs, everything. So it's unfortunate to see them get their ass kicked, but I'm glad I didn't waste any money on this weekend. Final Four tickets or national champion. Because I thought about going down. It was in Tampa, and I was like, maybe I'll go down. Nope, not going to happen. Not going to go down there. So I'm okay with it. Shout out to Coach G. Got his 12th ring. He just can't have 11. Just got to have 12. Selfish bastard.
Great. Yeah, I wish it had been at least a closer game, more entertaining. That's been unfortunate because the game was so lopsided. I'm sure a lot of people turned their TV off. I mean, definitely shout out to Paige because she went through a lot to actually get here, overcoming injuries. Sarah Strong is still going to be there, so UConn's still going to be something to wreck with because that lady balled the entire tournament. So, like I said, UConn's going to be something to wreck with. So I don't know.
South Carolina is too. South Carolina just got that cold Florida State transfer too, so they reloaded quickly.
Yeah, it's just interesting because it had been a long time since UConn had won. I mean, UConn had been every year they win, then we kind of disappear for a while. LSU comes up. You get some years where Baylor became a team to reckon with. You've had South Carolina. So watching Geno get back up there was like, damn, it kind of was like that whole – remember when Brady had the 10 years where he didn't win a championship? It kind of felt like that, right? The guy was dominant, then he loses it, and then he finally is dominant. And I don't know if Geno, similar to Brady's going to go on another dominant run there. So – yeah, that's definitely good to see. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate. I thought it was going to be a competitive game. Like, obviously, on paper, it's UConn and South Carolina. You think that they're going to be able to compete with each other, and I don't know. Yeah, South Carolina just didn't really show up, and it's amazing how Paige Beckers can just get to and make her shot from any angle, anywhere on the floor. Like, credit to her, she's a fantastic. She should be the first overall pick after that, especially after that performance. If it wasn't clear before, they'll be.
Well,
I mean,
number 2 pick. Well, remember the person who was projected to went to the transfer portal, so
exactly. Which keep an eye on that TCU team. They just replaced Haley Van Lith with Olivia Miles, so that's a good replacement for your most talented players to get the most talented player that's considered the most talented player that is going to be remaining in college. So they'll be interesting. But I think, I mean, at this point, I would say that UConn and South Carolina will be back in the national championship game next year because they just seem far and away like the two best programs.
Right. Yeah. So it's a good thing you didn't end up spending that money, like you said, because y'all would have been like, oh my God, I spent all this money to come down here and watch these blocks. Because that's funny because it was there this year. Last year when the Final Four was in Cleveland, and I almost went. But again, I'm glad I didn't because I would have wasted a bunch of money. Something I came across that was interesting, and y'all probably know this, y'all watch more golf than me. I am amazed at the prices of the food at the Masters. I just assumed, hey, it's expensive to get there. Just go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I looked and then so a couple of the prices. I think I'm just gonna go there to eat, and then I'm not gonna watch the golf. You can get a classic chicken sandwich for $3. You can't get chicken sandwich at McDonald's for $3. Also saw soft drinks for $2. Again, you cannot barely get a soft drink at McDonald's for $2. Not a large. I'm sure it's probably a decent size. Then I even saw apple slices, $1.50. Chick-fil-A charges like $2 for apple slices, and these are probably like fresh ass apples. So yeah, I as much as I kind of shit on golf and stuff, shout out to them for actually saying, okay, we already took enough of your money to spend thousands to get here. The least we can do is just not run it up on you. But Mike, you had something on your mind about the Masters.
Yeah, so I mean, you talk about things we didn't know about the Masters. Let me share with you 3 things that I didn't know about the Masters that John might know because he's more in tune with some of these things. But let's see. So first off, the sand at Augusta National is actually granulated quartz, which is the same material that they use in the semiconductors for computers and cell phones. Also, the reason why the water at Augusta seems so pristine every year, it's got that shine to it, is because they actually add food dye, which is the same kind of food dye that they use in cake icing to make it kind of reflective and be that blue. Finally, Alistair McKenzie and Bobby Jones, they're the 2 people credited with designing Augusta National where the Masters is played. But McKenzie never even saw the course with grass on it. Shortly after they shaped the greens to start building Augusta, he actually left for England, and the seeds hadn't sprouted yet. They had planted the seeds before he left, but they hadn't sprouted yet. He then passed away 2 months before the first Masters was played in 19.
Sucks for him. Kind of like Walt Disney never got to see Disney World.
Right.
One of those type of things. Like,
Yeah.
man,
It's your greatest creation, and you never saw it.
And one thing on that, Mike, too, is they fly the sand in from Texas, I think. Sense. So I think they fly the sand in from Texas, and they make sure everything. And to your point, Trey, with all the pricing and everything, I was talking to Jamie about this earlier. Is that that is the thing, is because he was talking about how you go to the Masters and you spend all this money on tickets, and it's really not expensive to go to the Masters if you can get tickets in when they first release. I think it's like $100 a round, which, if we think about it, it's not $400 for 4 rounds of golf. I mean, we can't buy an NFL ticket for $100 and be this close to the people that we want to see on the field. So $400, it's really not that bad. Plus all the stuff where people get the thing with it being so expensive is the fact that the resale, obviously, is always going to be higher, right? People sell $4,000, $5,000. Even 2019, I think Tiger's Sunday ticket was going for about $150,000 or something like that. It was something stupid. People paying it, so good for them having that money. But yeah, it's always been a tradition that they don't charge that much for their food and stuff like that. And a lot of people say, oh, well, they make $150 million a year on their merchandise. And it's like, yeah, well, people go in there with grocery carts full of shit when they walk out. They spend thousands. And if not, you have people saying, hey, go get me a shirt. Here's $20. And you get 40 or 50 people that this one guy's got to go shop for. It's a lot of things. I actually had a buddy that did it for me a few years ago. He went and got me a shirt. He's like, do you want a shirt? I'm like, yeah, I'll throw you some money. So, but the shirts aren't really that expensive. I think it was $45, $50 for a polo. That's really inexpensive. So to your point. But I think we have a special guest coming in, and I think that special guest is Mr. J, who I was talking to about. So, Grandpa J, we're talking about prices at the Masters, and I informed you earlier how low it was. You weren't too surprised earlier?
I was surprised at how low, the concessions were, but we kind of touched on the point that people go bonkers because there's no way they make the money they make without people going crazy once they get into the memorabilia and everything they could take home with them. I mean, at the pool today, they had 2 people on with Masters, baseball hats. So it's obviously something that people are enamored by, and they don't want one of it. You were telling me they buy boxes of polos, right? So they don't go in there.
They go in and basically, if I go, I'll tell people I'm going, and then they'll be like, here, I'll throw you $40, $50, $100, buy me whatever, buy me a hat, buy me a flag. And basically that's what happens. It's if you win the lottery, which there's a lottery system where you can get tickets to any of the Tuesday through Sunday. Obviously you want Sunday, that's the best round, but you can get these tickets, and basically people are going to be like, hey, buy me a shirt. Here's $50. And you go out and spend thousands of dollars in there and then go get yourself a $2 soda. Because you're broke.
Jay, I'm going to get you to the Masters. You know how we're going to do this? Okay. It could be current. It could be in the history of golf. You're going to be a caddy for someone at the Masters. Who's that person going to be? You. Yeah, you're Jay.
Your name is Jay.
You're Jay. You don't.
Name
Jay. John's not to say you're Jay.
Uh-oh.
Chichi Rodriguez, baby. My guy. None other than Chichi. One of the most entertaining players of all time. The guy played with a smile on his face. He lit up every time he played at a major. He lit up whatever crowd that was following him. I like to be around that kind of player for 72 holes over the weekend, especially at a course that could stress a lot of people out. Chichi was just a guy that just made you feel good about yourself because he enjoyed life and he understood life. So Chichi Rodriguez for the win.
Mike, who are you going to caddy for?
Well, we talk about the cheap drinks. Hopefully the cheapest drink there is going to be a little mix of iced tea, a little mix of lemonade to give me Arnold Palmer. Please, I would love to be caddying for Arnold Palmer because the dude knew like everything about golf. He was an amazing player, and I would just love to learn everything about, like, if I'm learning to play golf now, and if there's anybody I would trust to teach me how to play golf and give me those tips and be able to watch, it would be Arnold Palmer.
All right, John, tell us about your time with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
No, actually, I wouldn't have with Tiger Woods.
Really?
What?
He's really serious. He's I mean, it depends on what Tiger, right? Like, are we playing right now, Tiger? Maybe. But early 2000s, Tiger, he was a dick. I mean, rightfully so. You don't win 82 times in 15 majors and not be like some sort of an asshole. I mean, Kobe was. Every one of the great ones are. I was going a little bit more new school. I would love to be on Rory's bag. I'm a huge Rory fan. I'd love to be on his bag to hear his mindset and how he, goes about shots. Realistically, he relies on his caddy, but he understands what shot he needs to hit every single time. I mean, he is one of the greatest golfers of all time and will go down as one of the greatest golfers. Unfortunately, I mean, he hasn't won a Masters. Hopefully brings him that green jacket this weekend. He's playing great golf. But I like to be on Rory's bag. I like to see how he can methodically go through shots and then just sit back and look at a guy that's 5'9", take the driver out and hit it 355 yards down the fairway and just be like, Jesus Christ, man. Dude, you generate so much power through his lower body on his swing, and it's just incredible to watch. It was almost like watching Tiger back in the day when I got to watch him up at the Turning Stone Casino, and you don't appreciate it until you see it in person. And this was prime Tiger, right before he won his 10th major, and just to watch him just come through the ball on a tee, it's just absolutely incredible, and the timing and everything perfect. It's truly incredible as a golfer to myself and as the golf guy on this podcast. It's just it really is a thing of beauty to watch someone just come up and just be able to launch it, but then like a guy like me walks up who's very strong as well, and I go and hit it, and it's fucking 260 yards. It's like, God.
Right.
It's like you got to give your hats off to these guys. TreyDay.
For me, it was a pretty simple answer here. Being the golf expert that I am,
of course.
I gotta go with my man. Huh?
I said, of course.
Of course. Yeah. I gotta go with my man Chubbs Peterson. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going for. Chubbs.
Before his hand or after?
After the hand. We need to talk about the alligator taking his hand off. We get to talk about when he was helping coach Rocky before he got killed.
I was going to say when he was Apollo Creed.
So we're going to talk a little boxing. We're going to talk a little golf. I'm hanging with Carl Weathers, of course. Carl Weathers was a real athlete in real life. He probably could golf for real because that was a very athletic man. So I'm hanging with my man Chubb Peterson. And shout out to Carl Weathers, RIP. Unfortunately, he won't be, he's not here for Happy Gilmore 2, but that's coming soon. So make sure y'all check that out. So, yeah, hang my man's Chubbs. Y'all didn't see that one coming, did y'all?
No.
Y'all didn't say, we didn't say it had to be a fiction or non-fiction. We just said current or past. Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eli Manning didn't make the Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
And we all knew that was deserving. So he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, right?
I mean, we didn't all know that, but go on.
We all knew that, including you.
No.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, people retire jerseys sometimes kind of all willy nilly.
Yeah.
If any sport, pick someone who's a jersey you think should have never been retired.
Okay, so we're gonna take it to the NBA. We're gonna go to the Miami Heat.
Michael
They
Jordan.
never should have retired 23 for Michael Jordan because he never played for the fucking team. Now, if it was like hockey where the whole league retired Wayne Gretzky's number, or baseball, like the whole league retired Jackie Robinson's number, that's all well and good. The NBA has not retired 23 for Michael Jordan, obviously, because LeBron James wore 23 for a long-ass time as well as other players. So, if he never played for your team, I understand it's a showing of respect, but he never played for your fucking team. Like, why are you retiring it? It's stupid.
Yeah, I had the same answer, actually. I mean, to me, it's offensive. You got Dwayne Wade, we retired jersey, Dwayne Wade, Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, Udonis Haslem, Chris Bosh, Michael Jordan. That doesn't even line up. If I was those guys, I'd be offended. And the thing is, it's not shading Jordan. I mean, shout out to him. If, like Mike said, if they were retiring his jersey in every stadium on some Jackie Robinson type thing, on some Bill Russell type thing, fine. But the Miami Heat individually retired? No, that is stupid. Why not next year championship, Pat Riley, put all the times that Jordan busted your ass, put plaques of those too so we can see those,
Right.
so we can explain why he's retired. Because when I walk through, I'm going to see a picture of Dwayne Wade standing on the table doing the "this is my house" thing and all that type of stuff. I'm going to see LeBron. I'm going to see pictures of Zoe swatting somebody's ball. And then I'm going to see a Michael Jordan jersey, but there's no memorabilia there. So please, hey, let's keep it real. We should put Michael Jordan in the highlights too when we're doing the opening intro for the Miami Heat. Jay, whose jersey is out of line?
This one is kind of weird to me because I figured not people are gonna balk at it and be like, well, I'm not too sure why they should have gone there. It just didn't make any sense because what was the significance of retiring Anderson Varejão's jersey in Cleveland?
I don't know. That one could have went. I never was a Varejão fan. He wouldn't even hear it, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you have to be such a generational player or impact the franchise in a way where it's like you came in and you transformed the franchise to the point where it's like this player moved the needle for us, right? Willis Reed in New York, or somebody who really turned the entire franchise around. I just don't get why you run to do something with somebody who wasn't even ever the best player on the team at any given time.
He wasn't even a top 3 player on the team.
I mean, what? It's the most perplexing one when I was looking up who has retired jerseys that would seem odd. And nothing about him made me feel like he deserved to have that honor in Cleveland. So that one just puzzled the shit out of me.
He did. He saved a lot of money on haircuts. I mean, he never got one.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe the barbershop should have.
Just like you. You putting barbershops out of business.
That's right.
Speaking of the Rocket
Shave your
Arena, on a quick side note, speaking of the Rocket Arena, going to make some history this week. I'm going to Rocket Arena, but I'm not going to see a basketball game. I'm going to see a hockey game. It's my first hockey game. I'm going to go see the Cleveland Monsters this Saturday. So I'll take some pictures. I'll go see what it is. But, John, you're our hockey guy. What should I be looking for at my first hockey game?
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
You're going to hear a lot of cowbell. A lot of
What's the cowbell in the hockey arena?
I have no idea.
Loud.
Oh, I didn't know if it was something.
I have no idea. They have those xylophones that they have for soccer.
Oh,
no, I don't know. I don't know Cleveland's. I don't know Cleveland's like nuances of their team, but I know every hockey arena you go to, even as a player, it's still fucking annoying. I mean, you still hear the cowboy. God damn it! And
I remember the Cowboys been thinking the Sacramento Kings arena. I always remember that.
Or you have the xylophones or something. I would just take in the atmosphere, honestly. Watch. Don't be always looking for a fight. Don't look. As much as people want to say hockey's all about fights, it's not. It's not about fights. There's a lot of skill out there. There's a lot of hitting and shoving and whatnot. You're going to see guys getting scrums, but they're not going to fight. They're just going to push each other. It's like they're doing basketball or football. Enjoy the speed of the game. It's an AHL team, so it's a minor league team, but still, it's fast, it's entertaining. It'll keep your eye moving. I think you'll actually like hockey even more now that
you get to experience it in person. I always tell people go experience a game in person, and it'll be awesome. Like I think you're gonna like the environment. People are welcoming. I don't know how they do it in Cleveland, but in Syracuse, a lot of times they were welcoming. Obviously you get those rival fans and stuff, but you'll see the diehards. There's gonna be a section probably behind the bench of the diehards, and you'll see them all scattered when you get there right before the game, and they're a little goofy, but and that's being nice. So
got you.
Not of the Masters week, quick mulligan. So there was debate. I read it wrong. There was debate, and I read that it was retired, but there's no official announcement that they will retire his jersey. It was discussed that they might. So it's my guy, even though I loved him. Trey, I know you love this guy, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who does officially have his jersey retired. Everybody loves a little bit of Big Z in their life. But going back to the idea that you have a big man that once again didn't do anything special, didn't help you hang a banner in there. So while I thought it was Anderson, Big Z for sure, and he was one of these Cleveland big men.
Z, I was okay with being retired.
No, man. Why?
And I'm going to tell you why. Because he had most of the
about going to the game. Yeah, it should be a good time.
At retirement, he had most of the records in the franchise at the time of retirement.
Facing the right way, too.
So that was why I would have had Z. Actually, I was okay with Z. Verge, I wouldn't be okay with, but Z did have, like,
because he was a big Lithuanian sensation, the best international player from Lithuania.
Well,
I feel like he did it because he was the first great Lithuanian player.
Wait.
Our other qualification was, were you the best player on the team? He
was
the best
what
player
it had
on
to
the
do
team.
with the Masters.
I know you'd be disappointed if we did that. So, speaking of disappointments, Jay, this year, NBA, who's your biggest disappointment?
I think, it'd probably be way too easy to say it's the Philadelphia 76ers. But I'm going to say it's the Dallas Mavericks for just blowing it up. I just feel like that trade will go down as one of the worst in history in terms of Dallas was the one who prompted to make that trade, but we all know the Lakers construed to made it happen from a long time ago. But I just feel like Dallas could have competed. They went to the NBA Finals last year. I don't understand why you're in such a haste to get rid of one of the greatest players of his generation. So for what they did at a point in the season where, like, yeah, they weren't playing great basketball, but look at the West. It's come jumbled up. Like, nobody even knows who the 2 or 3 seed is at this point. So I feel like they made a terrible move, and I'm really disappointed in Dallas for not even believing that they could make another run with the roster they already have and just said, F it. We'll just throw the towel in, get rid of Luka, start this rebuild now with Anthony Davis. That was just so strange to me. I didn't get that. So Dallas, hell, man. What the hell?
It's disappointing, but at the same time, they trade our Lord and Savior, Luka Doncic, to the Lakers. So we're perfectly fine with that. John, who's your big disappointment?
This year, the biggest disappointment, I was going to say the Miami Heat, but realistically, they're a playoff team, but they're going to get bounced out in the first round, in the play-in game anyway. So disappointed in them, disappointed in how Jimmy Butler just keeps getting away with, like, acting like a fool when he wants to leave. Stomp, stomp, slam, which seems to be a common theme in the NBA. If you don't get your way, you just stomp, stomp, slam, and poof, you go to a championship level team. So that seems to be a common theme in general. So I would say the Miami Heat, just because it's just annoying as a Heat fan year in, year out, Pat Riley just letting these free agents because he doesn't want to spend the money on them or anything like that. So, yes, they're a playoff team, but unfortunately, it's probably be the last year for a while, unless they go get a big star like Kevin Durant potentially. But even him, he's towards the end of his career.
Mike, who's frustrated you?
Yeah, I will take the easy road. It's the Sixers, because on paper, there was talk that they were the only team in the East that were really going to be able to contend with the Celtics and even give them a challenge. But that was always if they stay healthy. And okay, obviously nobody stays completely healthy the whole year. There's people getting banged up and things like that, especially in today's NBA. But my God, the whole roster just fell apart. And now there's apparently, from what I've heard, there's a disconnect between Embiid's people and the Sixers as to whether he was actually fully hurt until now, when he's got to apparently have knee surgery. Now he's got to have knee surgery again. So who knows how long of time he's going to miss, and they're paying him all that money. And their big answer was to go get Paul George, who we know gets hurt often. And then now it's all to the detriment of Tyrese Maxey, who's also hurt and needs surgery on his hand and is out for the rest of the year. So you've gone from a team that was considered this probable second best in the East to one of the worst teams in the entire league, and there doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel that's going to get them any better because of all the money they've spent and all the guys that they're paying to sit on the bench and or at home.
Well, Jerry McCain gets him a lot of TikTok followers.
This is true. Him and his painted nails.
He's also hurt.
And he's also
even that.
Or an ACL, unfortunately. And he was
having
a great year.
He was killing it. He was their only bright side.
Yeah, so me and Mike watching the same NBA TV because, there's no way I can't say the Sixers here.
I thought that was just
first off. You thought what?
I thought that was just an obvious pick, like the Sixers. I mean, they were.
Yeah, like I said, I'll take the easy road.
I need to sit up the Sixers real quick. So you come in, you bring Podcast P out there. We get to the end of the year now. Podcast P is talking about, I think I'm gonna take a step back from my podcast, bro. If you can't do both, then you shouldn't be doing this anyways. I'm all for players. They want to have podcast stuff. Draymond's done it during the year. It's worked out fine. I remember Ryan Clark used to go work for ESPN for a week on a bye week, and it worked out fine. But apparently, this is something that he can't do during the season, so he needs to wait till the off season. And B, again, always hurt, never available. And Daryl Morey goes out in all season, decides to get this guy an extension when it wasn't time yet. For what? That was a dumb thing. What are you doing here? Tyrese Maxey, I feel bad for you because you're stuck. So unless you decide you want to go throw a fit and say, get me the hell out of here, you're stuck. The only good thing I can say, again, is, McCain looked like he was good, but who knows? Sometimes it takes people a couple years to bounce back from ACL. So I'll give them credit of the Quentin Grimes trade because Quentin Grimes has been balling. That's been something where they can use him next year with these guys, but I just don't see that turn around. They got to blow that situation up, but who in the fuck wants Embiid's contract right now? I mean, what idiot outside of, I guess maybe you trade with Nico Harrison, he'll probably do it because that's a fucking idiot, but outside of him, nobody's going to trade for that contract. They're pretty much stuck.
No one's going to trade.
What's up?
I was going to say, no one's going to trade for Embiid's contract. Who's going to trade for Paul George's contract?
Nobody's trading for that contract either. He got 2 or 3 years left, so
right.
They're stuck. I don't really feel that. But you know what? This makes me miss something. A long time ago, we used to have a show. We said we're going to bring it back. I think it's about time for us to break into a quick episode of The Starting Five. Ooh. Yeah, Jay, so we haven't done the Starting Five in a while. There's been a lot going on. We were kind of talking on, the regular show about some of the bottom feeders. How would you say, pick any franchise and explain to me how you would save that franchise? Any, maybe shit franchise and they're not playing right now. It looks like it's going bad. And how would you, if you were enacted as the new GM, fix the issue?
I don't feel like so much of a shit franchise. I feel like they've been positioning themselves to compete. They did a great job last year making the playoffs and taking the Cavs to 7. That's the Orlando Magic. I feel like they have a lot of really good pieces in Orlando. They're just not getting the right piece in particular. And it should be an easy fix. They need a great perimeter shooter. They tried the KCP thing, but that's the Caldwell thing's not working out at this point, right? Yeah, he's the only one shooting, I think, over 34% from downtown. But you have your second best scorer on the team shooting below 30% from the perimeter. That's not working out. You're not getting rid of Franz. But you have to bring in someone who's a dynamic scorer. You take some of that pressure off Banchero, and then you could have more flow in the offense. The perfect candidate for us, he's a restricted free agent, is Cam Thomas up in Brooklyn. The kid is he's just a bucket getter. He goes and he gets it, and he's a great perimeter shooter. I don't know if the Nets want to extend. Right now, he's only making like $4 million, so it depends on if they want to bring him back. Has a couple of injury issues already, but come down to Orlando. That's exactly what they need. Someone that plays pretty good perimeter defense. They can shoot the ball really, really well. They really don't have that many pieces missing, other than the fact that they just need to have more fluidity in the offense, not be so stagnant. Of course, they have to toughen up on the defensive end, which it looked like they were doing last year in the playoffs, especially. And they're a shit-talking team too, right? They're a bunch of guys that like to play the game hard. So I feel like they're a piece or two away, but they need 2 significant shooters and one of them has to be some guy that can get a bucket whenever he wants. Cam Thomas, and then pick up anybody else in free agency who could hit a three. Or if you really want to make a huge splash, find a way to make a deal with Ingram and go ahead and put Wagner in that deal and get rid of him and bring Ingram in. Send him up to Toronto for all you care if you can get that. I don't know if he's restricted or if he's unrestricted.
No,
they
they
really
extended
make a
it.
splash.
He
They
got
can
an
do something like that with Ingram.
He got an extension as soon as they traded for him.
Did they?
Yeah, he has a big contract now, so I don't even know if he could fit with them because the contract is massive. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I just don't think. And the fact that they didn't get to play it out in Toronto this year because he's been hurt, I doubt they would sell this quick.
Yeah.
Unless, like you said, they put it in Wagner or something. And at that point, you probably do it because Wagner, truthfully. But the thing
Yeah,
is,
he's a much better perimeter shooter. I mean, obviously, Wagner's younger, so
he's
you
a
look
better
up for
shooter,
the
but I think
future.
Wagner's a better player. So I don't know if I would put him in for an Ingram trade. Because I really do genuinely think. Because remember how Wagner looked for that little bit of time when we took out when Paulo was out. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I would necessarily do that. For me, the team I looked at was the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, they have certain pieces. I went on when they were about to extend Lowry in the offseason. I was like, I don't know if I do that. And I got on Twitter and got in arguments with people. And they're like, you sound stupid. And then this year, Lowry's disappointed. This is why I would have done it. So one of the things I would look at is, can you sell it high? Because I don't know if his timeline, their timeline are different. Before he gets a little bit too old, while he still has some value, I would sell high on that because I think you may be able to go get a couple picks, maybe trade up, maybe get an extra lottery pick for next year. Because right now, remember, this is what Ainge likes to do. Ainge likes to add up a lot of assets and then wait for the big move. Right now, trading him would be your best way to get a future big asset. Let's say you end up getting Cooper Kupp or something in the lottery. At that point, what good does marketing do? Now you get somebody else who can play with Kupp, so or Coop. So I've called him Cooper Cup. You get somebody else who can play with Coop. So I would look at necessarily trading him. Speaking of that, we're talking about Cooper Flagg. The teams in the bottom 5. What team do you think, if he ended up going there in the lottery, would suddenly find a way into the playoffs next year?
I mean, the most obvious right now is the Sixers, right? Because you figure that they have competed as of most recent with all the other teams. They have, I think, the ability with Flagg being there where it's an immediate improvement and they can compete right away. You compare that roster with the other rosters, there's too many missing pieces, especially in Utah and Washington. We know New Orleans is an absolute mess now trying to figure things out. And Charlotte seems to be like the cursed franchise of the NBA. Like, they just can't get to the playoffs. They can't get past 20 wins. It's like the curse of Jordan. We know that Flagg's a generational player. Can you imagine him with Maxey? I mean, that would be a pretty incredible combo, which I think you could build around for a lot of years. I think the most immediate impact right away has to be Philly.
It would be Philly, but what I would actually think would be interesting, and it's funny because you said they were kind of jinxed, Charlotte. If he went to Charlotte, I think they actually, if they can stay healthy, and that's a big help, I think they can find one in the playoffs. At least the play-in game. That's the thing with the play-in. Really,
Wait, do you make Brandon Miller a 6-man? In the same position, right?
Technically, yes, but I think depending on how you decide to run this, I think you can run Flagg and him in the same lineup at times. Remember, we play positionless basketball now, and Miller can check multiple positions. So, I mean, you could have a situation where he's still out there on certain nights checking the shooting guard or something. So, Miller's been good when he's played, but then he got hurt. LaMelo, and I can just imagine LaMelo throwing lobs to Flagg. And I just think it would
both
be
of them have great court vision, right? So it'll be
both
crazy.
have great court vision. So I think if you add him in, and especially in the East, I mean, look how the East is playing this right now. You get to play in right now with 10 games under 500. So I think if you put that combination, you said what?
35 wins to get to the play-in.
Right, 35 wins. I think if they stay healthy, that team can get 35, 36 wins. At that point, okay, can they win one game to maybe get in the playoffs? Yeah, they probably can. And then they're going to get smoked in the first round by the Cavs, Celtics, whoever's at the top next year. But I think they can at least get there with that. I wouldn't mind it. Charlotte's been such a dead franchise at a certain point. I don't like to watch one franchise just be dead for like multiple decades. That's why I like the Bean thing was fun last year. That's why anytime you get that team that like revives itself and everybody's like, oh, this is fun. I forgot how fun it was when this team actually mattered. And right now, I mean, really ever in the history of the franchise, when does Charlotte ever really matter? I mean, I think for the good folks of Charlotte, they deserve to actually get to enjoy some basketball other than North Carolina and Duke at some point in their life.
Well,
I saw something
out there though. They got a lot of good college basketball every year.
I mean, they got Wake, you got NC State. I mean, I know that But at some point, you want to enjoy the NBA. Damn, there's no point. If not, then we need to take their ass and put them in Seattle. So
Exactly. Exactly. Let's go.
There was a scenario I heard someone say of a way to fix tanking. I thought interesting. I want your thoughts on it. Okay, so let's say we had the worst two teams, and whoever was the worst two teams, they don't get to go to the draft lottery. They just automatically are slide into the 4th and 5th pick. So you're still pretty high, but you don't get the top. So now we get to this last week. You got teams who are trying to tank, and they're like, oh, shoot, I can't be last. I got to be playing. So now you're bringing guys, you're activating guys back. Instead of you saying, let me shut Tyrese Maxey down, it's like, no, Tyrese, we need you to get out here because we can't be last. We need to find a way to get to at least 3. And then you get to the last week, and these teams are still giving playoff teams hell, where they're not just going to say, well, we play the Sixers today. This is easy. I could definitely clinch the 3 seed. So I thought that was the first time I'd ever heard it. I heard it on another podcast, and I was like, I think I heard it on Dominique Pfeiffer's podcast. I was like, this is interesting. What do you think of that, Jay?
I think that's probably the most fair way to get them to at least show fans that they're competing. But here's the weird part about it, right? Roster depletion, guys are injured. You have no talent on the roster. The guys are actually playing hard and they still get their asses beat. How do you determine tanking in the sense more than the fact that if the key players are out and the other guys just can't compete with really good teams, how do you determine that, right? It'll be hard for the NBA to just be like, without your superstars on the floor and the coach obviously resting them, then you can't determine that it's an intentional tank. So I think it'll be hard to judge it based on whether you have.
Well, in this case, you're not judging. This is just the rule.
Yeah.
This is the automatic rule. So if you just get bad luck there, you got bad luck.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we judge it. And
because what do? Do you set the parameter like you can't lose by more than 15? Like that, do we consider that tanking, or over 20?
No, the rule would just flat out be beginning of the year. Whoever the last 2 teams, you were the 4th and 5th pick in the draft. That's just it. There is no.
Okay, so it's just a parameter saying you finish like it's. So I get it. So it's kind of like the other sports where you're fighting not to be bottom 2 because it's kind of like this relegation punishment. You get punished.
It's almost like a relegation. That's exactly what they describe.
Yeah.
It's just like relegation. So you are incentivized to not have your guy opt out for that early surgery. Even if you get the trade deadline, maybe you don't trade away all the pieces because I do need somebody to stay to make sure that we don't end up at the bottom. So maybe you don't go trade out, the guy who you're looking at, you're like, maybe I get a late lottery pick. Like, no, I better make sure I protect my lottery pick.
Yeah.
So
it definitely make the last 2 weeks a lot better because those teams, especially if they have 3 teams around the same record, then it's almost like there's a fight at the bottom too. So now you have a fight for supremacy and then you have a fight for that lottery.
No, the fans have something to cheer about. I mean, think about right now if the Wizards were playing the Hornets in the game.
Yeah.
Why, as a fan, I go to a Wizards Hornets game? But imagine if we were fighting not to get to not lose our first pick. If it was April, it'd be a packed out game because we're fighting for. When they say capture the flag, no, you got to capture the flag by winning this thing, not by losing the last 3 weeks on purpose. So,
imagine if it was a playing game situation for the bottom 2, and then the loser automatically drops out of that lottery to be within the top 3 or 4. Because isn't it top 4 now where like the top 4 get the same percentage at 14%?
The top 4 basically are the same.
Yeah, so it's that playing game. It's like you automatically drop out, and the team who wins is the one who still jockeys to get that top pick. To me, that would be kind of fun too.
Yeah, that would be fun too because it gives the fans something to look forward to. You got fan base who haven't had anything to look forward to in their team for months now in some of these cases. So why am I as a season ticket holder sitting here like, man, I pay all this money and I'm out here? I mean, you got lineups I done seen a couple of these games where I'm like, man, I don't know, but one person on this court is playing right now, and that's not hooping. That ain't basketball. But, this has been the starting 5. We're going to start bringing this back because it's playoffs. So definitely a lot more starting 5s coming up soon. But back to our regular show. We talked a lot on starting 5 about bottom feeders, teams, a little bit about college basketball. What if you had a choice and you were looking at an athlete and they were trying to transfer in basketball or football? What's the max amount of money that you'd be willing to actually spend on a transfer you're going to have for 1 year? John?
I don't know. It's a good question. I've been trying to think about that. Probably whatever the average is of the quarterback, whatever it might be. If it's a quarterback, probably the average of whatever they're getting, maybe $1 mil, $2 mil. It just depends, right? Like, it depends on the player. If it's a top player, I would say probably a mil or two.
A mil or two. Okay. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, so what I had come up with was around the average salary of the NFL or NBA. So that would be about 3.5 for the NBA, and that's actually 12 for. Or I'm sorry, no, it's the other way around. 3.5 for the NFL, and then 12 for the NBA. So because the whole idea for that 1-year contract would be to keep them from going to the draft, as well as to get them to come to your program versus another one.
Okay, let's say this was Mike. Let's say this was Travis Hunter, and he was in the transfer portal. How much is he worth?
How much is Travis Hunter worth?
Yeah, let's say it's Travis Hunter, for example.
Well, okay, we'll go. I guess we'll go 6 because he plays both sides of the ball, so we'll double it. So actually 7. It would be 7. 3.5 on each side.
Jay, how much you paying these guys?
So I kind of said, let me try and paint the landscape here, and looked at a couple of 1-year deals that are very recent. If you're going to sign somebody like Mike Gesicki for $4.5 million on a 1-year deal, then you could fork out at least 5 for the best transfer player. Then you consider someone like Bobby Wagner, who got $7 million for a 1-year deal, and he's all pro and he's had an accomplished career. So to me, it's like, well, I can't give you more than that. But I got to give you more than someone like a Gesicki who doesn't even feel like he's going to make an impact to any team. But this player is going to come in and possibly help your team fight to get into the college playoff semifinal, and then you have a shot at the national championship. So I probably bend it to maybe 5 high in that range, 5.5 to 6. Don't think I can go any higher than that.
Basketball is the tough part because you have 68 teams that get into a tournament, and you're not guaranteed that it's more than just you being on the team. Obviously, this year 4 number ones, but basketball's gonna be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I'll be in the high.
I mean, for me, I feel like you already know my answer to this. There is no max. You pay as much as is needed to go win that championship. I don't care if it's 20 mil. If Jeremiah Smith right now is in the transfer portal and you had the opportunity to get that dude, the price is 15, and damn it, the price is 15. I said this last week. Why are we trying to cut off money on these folks? We got these rich boosters and they want to spend this money. Let them folks spend that money. Because if I can go get 12 mil at TCU and then suddenly Texas calls and says I'll give you 14, then fine. Yeah, if I was a rich booster like Phil Knight, what did Phil Knight say? He does not want to die without seeing Oregon football in championship. Phil Knight is going to spend any ability of money. When he dies, I'm pretty sure in his will there'll still be Nike money being funneled into Oregon because that man just wants to see Oregon win. And if I had that type of filthy money, damn it, Jeremiah Smith, you would be rolling. I'm just saying right now. If I was as an Ohio State fan, Jeremiah Smith, I would be personally paying Jeremiah Smith $25 million. How much is Jamar Chase new contract?
How much is he making here? Like 100.
Yeah, how much is he making here?
38.
Like 40 almost. But, isn't he the first to 40?
No.
Well, if he making 40, goddamn it, the Jeremiah Smith and college worth 20. So I would give that man $20 million if he needs to get that. When Jeremiah gets to the combine, he's gonna have a hell of a 40. Maybe kind of think, what would be our 40s? At our nice ages of right
now.
now.
Hold on. Yeah, Chase's annual salary is 40.25. I think he was the first receiver to get 40.
Yep, Jeremiah's gonna drop a 4.3, and he's worth more than $20 million easily. John, I drop you into a 40 right now.
Probably 5-1, 5-0. Give me a few months. I can get it down to 4.6.
4.6?
Yes, sir. That's what it was when I was at my peak.
Nah, bro. I ain't going nowhere near that time. I'm not even gonna boast about being in the 4 mids. I'll be lucky to break 5. 4.99 would be my absolute reach ambition as somebody who is in the mid 40s almost. So I feel like 5.1 to 5.2 is more realistic what I can do right now.
It's all about explosiveness. So I can get off the line real quick and I can maintain that speed really fast across. So 5.1, 5.2 is actually pretty, even at being at 280 right now, 290. So
Mike, what about you? How fast you're 40?
Well, I was gonna say like like 5. No, it's 3.5. Yeah, I ain't that fast. I wasn't even that fast at my peak. No, I don't know. I thought like 5.2 might be what I could get to if you got me running. I'm the thing is I'm not explosive.
What was Brady's? What was Brady's time?
5.6.
5.5 or something.
He ran faster than Johnny, didn't he? He was faster at the end of his career than he was when he ran into the first.
He ran a 4.7. He ran a 4.7 at the end of his career.
Yeah, I know.
Brady
That's
did?
crazy. He was fast.
Nice.
Yeah, he was faster at 45 than he was at 22. For me, I would say about 5.2 right now. That's just, I don't run like I used to. I mean, I ran track, so a lot of for me isn't saying like, oh, it was great, but a lot of the 40 comes down to your technique and you get out, and a lot of it comes down to technique. I had decent technique when I used to have to run the 40s and with the combines when being recruited for football and stuff. So I think about 5.2. But you know what you fellas to do because all y'all live in the same household? Y'all need to go to a field and time your 40s. Put it on wax. Let's see what your actual 40s actually are. That's the homework assignment for this Cinco squad. So one of these days,
just break into a football field. It's already marked out.
just go jump over.
Just roll up at a high school at lunchtime. Hey, yo, what Cinco squad came in on the 40s? What you got on my 40?
No, don't go to high school. Go to Raymond James, get out there and do it. And hope that Vita Vea doesn't come kill you for getting on his field.
Practice field.
You see me run a 4.5 if I see him running after me.
Yeah, you may run a 4.5 after he starts chasing. You got no choice.
That's when that 3.5 comes out that John mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 3.5 come out, you're running for your damn life. If he catch you, because if he catch you, he'll probably stump you out. Just like something I'm about to do. I think I'm about ready to stump somebody out today. Fellas, it's time for Stump
Squad. Yeah, boy. Welcome, girls and boys, ghouls and goblins, to our favorite type of show. This is Stump the Squad. If you want to play along with us, and like and subscribe and comment at the end of it. You got to make sure you're not cheating and looking at your phone or laptop. Plus, two if you get it right, minus two if you get it wrong. I believe I will be defending my weekly title. So ask away, gentlemen, because it's inevitable. Mikey, you look like you're ready to stump the squad. Go through.
I hope so. So, talk about retired jersey numbers. In which league was the first ever jersey number retired?
Oh, wow.
A, the NHL. B, the MLB. C, the ABA. Or D, the WHA?
The ABA.
C. ABA.
Why not? C's across the board.
This week I have successfully stumped the squad.
It's D.
The NHL.
NHL.
Yes.
What, one of the Montreal Canadiens?
No, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nice.
ABA was always innovative, so I thought they might have just been innovative again.
Yeah. That's why they were in there. So, all right. You know what? I'll pass it down to John. Look down on
all right. Rory McIlroy has had how many rounds under par at the Masters? 30, 34, 40, 51.
44.
Yeah, I was going to say 34.
Okay.
What was C?
40.
40.
I have successfully stumped Grandpa J. It is 34 rounds under par. And in 16 tournament appearances, he's made 13 cuts. Fun fact. TreyDay, go ahead.
Okay, let's take it to the hardwood. Okay, which team has the lowest win percentage to ever make an NBA playoff appearance? So this is a certain season that they had the lowest percentage of a team that qualified for NBA playoffs. We have the 1986 Bulls, the 1950 Philadelphia Warriors, the 1988 San Antonio Spurs, the 1953 Baltimore Bullets.
Bullets.
Warriors.
Bulls.
Okay, today I have successfully stumped Jay and Mike. It is the 1953 Baltimore Bullets.
All right,
Nice.
so Mike has -2. Jamie has -4.
I'm done.
I have
6.
0. Trey has 0.
I got -6.
No, -2.
I got -6.
Right, Trey? Oh, you got -6? Okay. So, Trey, you have -2, right? Yeah, one right, one wrong.
I got one right.
One wrong. So, one right, and so it would be
0. You two are at 0. I'm at -2. Jay's done at -6.
All right, so it's down to a tie break if Mike gets it right and we get it wrong.
Okay, I got the tiebreak as well. So, all right, gentlemen, in honor of the Masters, can you tell me how many players have won the Masters with the highest score to win the Masters? Is it 3, 4, 5, or 7? So there's one particular score that is the highest score to ever win the Masters. How many players have won the Masters with that score?
With that same score, okay.
3, 4, 5, or 7?
4.
5.
4.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad. The correct answer is 3. And the tiebreaker is, can you tell me what score did they win the Masters with?
So it's between Trey and I.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me, well, this is harder for Trey to do it. Overall score.
I'm just throwing a number out.
Yeah. So just not the overall, not the overall score, but the final score.
The Sunday score.
Yeah, the Sunday final score.
I don't know what that means to me in golf terms. I know nothing about golf.
So you have so Trey, you have a cumulative of the 4 days that you add up your scores.
Yeah, I don't know what the cumulative total will be in 4 days.
I was for clarification, Jay, just so they understand what they're shooting for. Are we talking the over underscore or the number of strokes?
So we're talking about what the final score is posted on the leaderboard that won the tournament.
Okay, so the over underscore that won the tournament.
Okay, so
Tiger
won the Masters and he was 17 under. I want that number.
Right.
Yeah, we don't got to keep explaining. -3, that's my answer. Sorry,
yeah, 3 under?
Yeah, that's my answer. I know nothing about golf. So I'm not ready to. Yeah, I have no educated answer for this.
9 under.
9. Remember, it's the highest score to ever win, not the lowest.
Yeah, you can't be trying to weigh the person. That was his answer.
Well, the winner is Trey because it is +1, 1 over par. That Sam Snead was the first to do it in 54, then Jack Burke in 56, and then Zach Johnson in 2007.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, 9 under is actually I was thinking total cumulative, so I got it wrong. So, TreyDay, you're the winner. Congrats.
There you go, Trey.
We're actually headed down with golf. Y'all know how I do when it turns to golf.
You underestimate yourself, motherfucker.
I master the Masters. I keep
the
U.S. Open.
He's a hockey player.
US Open.
He's
I
a
master
golfer.
the Masters.
You're a hockey player. You're a golfer now. See, you're a hustler.
We'll talk about the cross on the next show and how Jim Brown influenced you.
Yeah, really.
Yep, I'm a caddy. I hang with Carl Weathers. Shout out to me. Finally, I think it's my first win. I think
you're in Happy Gilmore too, right?
Yeah.
Damn, keep throwing it.
Fuck, sorry.
The resident Lakers fan on the course saying "swish" every time they hit a hole.
No, he's the new Chubbs. Since Carl can't be Chubbs because he passed
Chubbs.
away.
I'm actually taking Chubbs' place. Yeah, so shout out to that. We will be doing a review of Happy Gilmore too once that drops too. By the way, people. So definitely shout out to that. But another great week next week. We'll have a little more Masters coverage because we'll kind of know what actually happened at that point. Mm-hmm. NBA playoffs will be set next week, so we're definitely going to talk about that. NHL, we're basically here at the playoffs for there, so we're basically back at it now. This is when stuff get real. The Masters is real. The playoffs, the NBA and NHL is real. We already crowned champions of other sports. Football, as crazy as it sounds, only a few months away. I know, it feels like we just ended this. So definitely make sure y'all lock in with us. Announcement on a side note, we do have a couple live shows coming up, people. We have a live draft show, so make sure y'all definitely lock in with us. We're going to do the first round live We'll be on Twitter. We'll be on YouTube. Definitely make sure y'all hop in the comments. Talk to us. We talk back. We're also doing another live show with Mr. U from Twitter. We're going to do a draft preview show on the Monday before the draft. So we won't have our standard Cinco Squad pre-record. We'll have 2 live episodes. So it's bonus content from us. So definitely make sure that everybody who messes with us lock in, because those are always fun. It's always fun because we get to engage right on the fly with the wonderful people that help build our podcast. We definitely appreciate that. But again, make sure y'all follow, like, comment, subscribe. Cinco Squad Pod 05 on all of our socials. Cinco Squad.